Hello and welcome to the daily trading recap, and in this video we will go through the trades that I have taken on 18th of April. So 18th of April was a bad trading day for me. The reason being I didn't follow my trading plan and I didn't focus a lot. Market was offering me a lot of different scenarios, but I was stick with my fixed mentality and I didn't look for details of as what market is offering me at that point. So if I start from our time frame, starting from daily, the previous daily candle was like that. At that point, I was can continue to push down or up, but I was anticipating that probably playing in the ranges will be the safest bet for today. And if I look at 4 hour time frame, the 4 hour time frame created a lot of mess for me to handle today. So the previous 4 hour candle closed and I took advantage of the buys in here. And once the candle closed bearish, I was anticipating that the next candle will break below this area and continue down. But at that time, I didn't focus on 4 hour time frame and I just moved back to my previous trading routine. I just was focused on way too much on M5 time frame. So if I look at 4 hour time frame now, I can see that uh, we are basically created this area of interest which break below previous H4 low that we created on previous week and then pushed up. So which essentially means that a low is created and the next four H4 bars were bullish. So created a resistance, we dropped, but once we start to break above this area and a wick was created, I should be very careful at that point. The reason being we may have retested that support and there was probability that we can continue up. So if I look at 4 hour time frame, first of all we will discuss this sell and this buy trade. So back in here, this buy trade was taken right in here, right on this candle. So if I look at prices right now, I can see that in H4 we were creating this area and this buy was taken on the anticipation that previous M30 candle has M30 bar has closed and there was probability that the next one will create a lower wick first and then up to just this area. But once the but once in M15 time frame we created this M5 low, I executed a sell below the low, which was the worst trade that I can ever take because the M15 candle at least should have gone above the previous two M15 bar highs and then create this setup, potentially execute a sell. So I was anticipating buys. I was waiting for support formation in M5 time frame. But once this setup appeared, I executed sell trade. I realized my mistake quickly and re-executed buys once the M5 candle closed bullish and closed the entire position in 26 pips. So that was the first two trades, and the next three trades were totally wrong trades. So let's look at those trades. So essentially, once created this area was created 4 times. Basically, created a high, we moved back down, we created a this low. So essentially, which means that we have done a fake out, maybe we can down. But we again did a fake out above that area and again back below that area. So once we break back below the area, this was my trade, but I didn't execute on this trade because there was little to no range left to the left side. But if I look at this fake out, I should have executed this sell trade for at least 50 of profit. but the price kept on pushing down. So the price kept on pushing down, although the pre H1 time frame was indicating a slow and sluggish trend. So out of nowhere, this volume came. So I should be very careful why this volume came into markets. So all right, at this point, once we created M15 high, M15 candle like this, I was waiting for M30 candle to create the low and execute on next M30 candle, because this is what I was taught. So essentially this M15 low was created. Usually the low is created on M30 time frame. This is the first instance I was witnessing this M15 low, which created only in 15 minutes. So which into a state of confusion that we are creating a low in M50 time frame and H1 candle is creating with a wick rejection. What's the probability that if we break below this area, we can continue down? That's where I executed my second sell trade. Once we break below the previous M5 candle low, I executed a sell to potentially target this 50 of range. But that M15 time M5 trade was very wrong trade. The reason was the previous two M5 candles were very strong bullish candles. These 50 pips of move on these two M5 bars, and I am taking pulse entry without waiting for candle to close. So that's where my first loss came. I executed the trade 10 pips profit before stopping me out. But at that time my mind was numb. I was unable to focus and I missed that trade. I basically took a wrong trade. And once the next 5 minutes starts above the high, I should have taken that trade at every cost, but I missed the most important trade for the day. So I will look for details of why I missed this trade. The reason I was waiting for some sort of retracement for prices to execute a trade, but the clue was in M50 that two M15 candles were closed, and a lot of people were anticipating sells and a lot of sellers were in here. So this trade was makes sense by placing a stop loss of 25 pips. Huge winner for the day. It went and profit 75 pips just for. Later on, I made a huge mess by taking very wrong trades, very wrong sell trades. I executed a sell position right in here. So if I look at M30, if the M30 candle is way up this area, what's the probability that we can continue down and fill this entire range? Although there was probability, but I should have waited for at least 150 candle to and execute a sell on next 50 minute candle breaking below the lows to potentially fill this entire range. So I executed a sell trade once we break below M5 candle low, and once the next M5 candle closes like that, I should have closed my entire position, but I took stop loss of around 13 trade, which was very bad. The second trade I took was once we created this high right in here. I was anticipating that this is high formation can continue down. It was in this H H1 candle, but how can we down when the other confluences are in buy? There was no M30 series, so that trade was again very wrong trade, and I lost around $6 on the amount. And later on, the third trade I took was as close at the next time candle can potentially 60 pips of range. So that's where I executed the next trade. The next trade was taken right in here by placing a stop loss of 17 pips. But once the market starts to consolidate, starts to consolidate right in here, I took myself out of this position, which was very good idea as I would have stopped out. So market essentially gave me two excellent chances of 70 pips trade, 140 pips for the day, but I just took trades based on wrong observation on this trade, and these trades were revenge. Third one was also a revenge trade, but luckily that didn't cause any damage. So I need to make sure that I take these factors into account.